Yo, today we're going to dive into San Jose State's 2025 football roster and we're going to see if we can come up with a couple of bold predictions to see where they may fall this upcoming season. The first one, many may not like, but I think we have to keep things realistic. San Jose State starts the year 1-3. When we look at their schedule to start the season, week 1, they go up against Central Michigan, week 2, Texas, then they play Idaho State, and then they play Stanford on the road. The road really isn't even that big of a thing to me, to be honest, as we saw last year that if anything, San Jose State fans may dominate Stanford fans within the Bay Area. But point being, week 1, there's a real possibility they come out a little bit slow playing against Central Michigan. We can't rule it out last year. I understand that it was a first-year coach and a new system and all, but they did come out slow in the first half against Sacramento State, and it took a little while for them to break away. Obviously, there's continuity now with this new team, but we can't 100% certain say that things will play perfectly this year against the Central Michigan team that's no slouch in the MAC. So there's a real chance they drop week 1, week 2. I think many have already chalked up as a loss against Texas. I think San Jose State can absolutely put points on the board. Will they be able to keep it close? Is another question. Then week 3, Idaho State. I think the complete inverse. Everybody has already chopped that up as a win. And in this stretch of 1-3, I think that would be the given win. And then you go over to Stanford, which, again, if we're being realistic with ourselves, they threw an interception at the end of the game last season. You talked to DJ Harvey and Isaiah Rivas, who made the interception. They were surprised that they even made the throw in the first place. There were less than 3 minutes to go. They had a 4-point lead. So there's a very realistic situation last year where Stanford wins that football game. Now, moving into this year again, Stanford has almost a completely new everything, but they are still a Power 4 school who kept it close with San Jose State last year. Did they fare well against Hawaii? Absolutely not. But there is a real possibility where they end up beating San Jose State at home, and that starts the year 1-3 and a really bad look to begin the year. Next up, I wholeheartedly believe Matthew Coleman will lead the team in targets. And I'm not just saying that because of the bowl game that happened last year. You look at his statistics over the last year. He finished the season with 34 receptions, 401 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was 3rd on the team in receptions. And then, of course, you have to look at the bowl game where body type wise, I would say he was the most similar to Nick Nash on that roster. So you throw him into that slot position and he goes for 12 receptions, 119 yards, and a touchdown with 60 yards after the catch. And I think that's really important because I believe he's a weapon that just cannot be denied being on the field. He's been a punt returner for the past 2 years. His first punt return he ever got was a 75-yard touchdown against Cal Poly. He's just a weapon that cannot be denied. And there is a lot of new offensive talent in the wide receiver room, but he is somebody that has consistently forced his way onto the field with his talent. And after proving himself in the bowl game last year, I just don't see a way where he either A, doesn't command that slot position where we've seen Nick Nash thrive and Matthew Coleman thrive, but he just doesn't keep himself off the field at all. And for that reason, I think he leads his team in targets. I also believe San Jose State's not going to have an 1,000-yard rusher this season. Floyd Chalk finished last year with 784 rushing yards, which, for how often the fandom complained and how people within the media room complained that they didn't run the ball, I think that's a pretty good total for the amount of carries that he was given. With that being said, he will be splitting the backfield a lot more this year with Lamar Radcliffe, as many believe. He's more likely to share that load this year. Stutz has admitted to the media members I've seen in the training camp this year that he wants to run the ball this year more, but I think that's not something that we can believe until we see it on the field. And that kind of leads us into my next bold prediction, is that Walker Eagle's going to break the single season passing attempt record for San Jose State. David Fales had 487 in 2013. Emmett and Walker last year combined for 545. Now, Eaglet had 188 completions for 328 yards, which is just a 57% completion percentage. But you have to imagine that another year in the system, more confident, he's going to get that completion percentage up, which many would think that would mean less attempts for him to throw the ball. He also had 10 interceptions last season, and if he can get that under control, keep those drives a little bit longer, continue to score these points on the board, I just don't see a way he doesn't break David Fales' record. And obviously, there's a lot of hype going into Walker Eaglet this season. I think he's considered the sleeper choice to win Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, which I'm all for, and that's why I didn't make that a bold prediction, because I think it's very well in the realm of possibilities he wins Offensive Player of the Year over someone like Maddox Madsen. With that being said, I think he will put himself in the top 5 of a lot of San Jose State records this upcoming season. Another take I have, DJ Harvey. He was not to say he was slept on coming into the year, but I don't think anybody could have predicted the surge that DJ Harvey had at the end of the season. I think he finished top 5 in PFF's cornerback rankings of collegiate corners last year. Amazing. My personal prediction is that this year Isaiah Rivas will be that for the San Jose State secondary. Isaiah Rivas finished the last 5 games of the year with 37 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, and 2 pass breakups. One of those interceptions very famously being in that Stanford game to turn the ball over and get San Jose State the ball back within under 3 minutes of the game. And the other was a pick 6 against UNLV. When you saw Isaiah Rivas and DJ Harvey on one side of the field, it was very difficult to target that side of the field. And a moment I won't forget is at the beginning of the Stanford game. They went for it on 4th down inside the 5-yard line to try and get some points on the board to start the game. And it was Isaiah Rivas who stopped the run, getting the end zone. It was a real goal line stop that he had, and that doesn't get chopped up as anything other than a tackle, but he just knows where to put himself in the moment. And considering the return on the secondary, there's a lot of new players there. I think he's going to be one of those big, consistent pieces that will get a lot of hype going in. At the end of the season, people will say his name a lot more than they had at the beginning of the year. I'd say that. A lot of the returners come from that front 7. 6 out of the 7 front 7 will be coming back. In fact, Soane Toya, he left after graduating this past year, but with such continuity within that front 7, I believe that San Jose State will have the best run defense in the conference this season. Now, of course, there's teams like Boise State who will give them a run for their money, but last year San Jose State finished 4th, and they have all of these returners coming back. The reality is I think most teams are probably going to throw against them anyways because of a depleted secondary. Now, we'll learn very quickly into the year if that secondary can do their part. But with that being said, this front 7 has so much experience that it's not going to be a point, I believe, that you'd want to attack if you were another team. And of course, the most popular bold prediction I've seen on San Jose State Twitter, which I also do believe is true, is San Jose State makes the college football playoff this year. I was told last year that when Kenny Matalolo came to the program last season, he told the team, there's a real possibility we make the CFP this year. We just have to win out. Now, when you look back at their schedule, some of the ranked opponents that ended up being there really was a possibility that San Jose State could have made the college football playoff last season. Now you look at the schedule this year, and I think this year you have to follow what I would think is the Boise State formula. So week 2, you play against Texas. The thing with Boise State is last year so many eyeballs got on them when Ashton Genty and the special teams really did their work against Oregon in that primetime game. I remember everyone being on Twitter saying, oh my God, look at this. This is a really close game against one of the top nationally ranked teams in the nation. And that's exactly what San Jose State has the opportunity to do. If they can keep that game close against Texas, I think they do have to win out if they want to win, if they want to make an appearance in the college football playoff. And that would obviously require winning the Mountain West Championship. The Mountain West Championship is obviously in play, but I don't think you can afford to lose a game other than the Texas game. I don't think you can afford to lose a game. You have to go 11-1 if you want to make the college football playoff, and you cannot have any dumb mistakes. You have to handle business when it's needed. I immediately think of the Jordan Pollard play against Boise State, the unnecessary roughness that kept everything moving, and that really killed the momentum. I think if you want to make it to the college football playoff this year, there cannot be any mistakes like that. And obviously it's another year under this team. There shouldn't be a Fresno State game like last year where the team came out maybe a little uninspired and it took them back a loop. This year, again, 11-1 is a real possibility. Making the college football playoff is a real possibility, but they have to handle their business where it's needed to be. So those are going to be my biggest bold predictions for the upcoming season. I should have a Central Michigan preview coming up in this week before Friday's game night. Let me know if you want to see anything else for the upcoming year, for this week, anything you want, I can hopefully deliver for you. And thank you. Please subscribe and come back.